is up,
Hello.
everybody?
How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing great, man. We got a full
Um,
house tonight, man. Please copy. We have Adventure Amateur Zero Zombie in the chat. I mean, on the stream.
What's happening? Every time. So I was telling Toby in another chat, I said, I think I'm going to get James a thesaurus with just A's and Z's
There you go.
for Christmas. And then he hits me with ambulance animal, zero zucchini or something. I'm like, I don't think he needs the thesaurus anymore.
It's hard. It's hard to remember what I've done and what I haven't done.
Right. Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. That's but you might need I still might get you just the A and the Z thesaurus, and then you can just peruse through it right before you do an activation, just to freshen up on some words.
Yeah, and it was rough yesterday because I did like 10 activations yesterday, and Kyle hunted me on probably at least 5 of them.
Yeah,
maybe 6.
Right. Yeah, I was. Yesterday was a big hunting day for me. I probably worked. I think I worked between 50 and 60 stations yesterday, and it was kind of hard to keep track of. Oh no, is James in a new? Like, I need a James tracker, right, in my log where it just tells me, or maybe I need a secretary that just tells me, hey, James is in a new park. You need to go work him.
Hey, people ask all the time, like, you are in a new park, right?
Because I get confused.
POTA has that, what's that Slack channel that they have where you can go and type in his call sign and it'll give you the history of everybody that spotted him. And then you could compare notes and that way. It's a little tedious, but.
Gotcha. That is a good point, Hayden. Maybe I could I'm revamping my Node-RED dashboard for POTA. Whenever they give us access to the API, and I actually can literally, whenever James is in a park, his call sign will flash up. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. It'll pop up, and then it will give you all the stats about James. It'll give you all the stats about you with that park, the relationship with that park. And then it will also tell you how many times it has been hunted and, all of those stats. So therefore you can go in and you can say, oh, I haven't hunted James in this park today. I'm going to go and hunt him. So, but that's if they give us access to the stats, and then also you have to pull those stats from the POTA website, so it's only as good as the records that the activators upload, right?
Would you be able to pull that data from the Slack channel and use that?
Yeah, that's a good idea, Hayden. I'm not part of the Slack channel, but I'm just thinking of all the useful things once we get access to the API, what we can do, because I've got a friend who does this with the soda, and he pulls his soda stats and the activators that are on the soda, and it just gives him all the stats on, and it also notifies him to say, hey, there's a new soda summit that you haven't gotten this year. You need to go work this guy.
We might have to invite the big man of POTA on and bring that up to him.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole slew of things that I'd like to do with the dashboard. I just time, and I don't have full access to the API.
That's a great idea.
A public API channel on the Parks on the Air Discord.
Yeah, I've been over there hounding that guy. I forgot who it is on. Hey,
Jeremy?
And I talked to Vance, and Vance is just like, how did you get access to the super secret API documentation? I'm like, I don't know. It's in the Discord channel. And he's like, oh, well, we haven't released it yet. And I'm like, I know. The second you do, I'm on it.
That's like me. I don't even release spots anymore. I just call, is this frequency in use? I don't release it. My spots are top secret anymore.
That's what happened. How many 60-meter channels are there, James?
Oh,
5?
well, there's not very many.
There's 5.
5.
But
5 voice and 5 CW.
But I only use 2. So
Okay, well, I mean, when I was in West Virginia, we rolled on 40 or 20. I can't remember. It was a whirlwind. But we rolled on one band, and then James went down to 60 meters, and he tuned up. Like, he just tuned up with his Eagle 1, and some guy came back with this call, and James worked him. All you had to do was tune up.
I've literally hit 80 before, and there's guys there rag chewing, and I know they're waiting on me, and I just say, okay, guys, I'm ready, and they throw out their call.
It was unbelievable. It's I mean, it's the following that James has is unprecedented. It's pretty cool.
I will tell you what.
The cult of A-Trag.
One day this week, it actually shocked me. Like, I'm used to, the pile that lasts for about even a minute and 15. But I had one the other day that for 2 minutes and 45 seconds, they never stopped. And yeah, there was people that said their call multiple times. But 2 minutes and 4, I was like, what in the world? I just start laughing and go with it.
It is pretty phenomenal. I mean, I've said this time and time again that the amount of pileups that James generates. I mean, many of us generate this type of pileup, but it's only for a couple of minutes, maybe the first 20 or 30 contacts. The amount of contacts James generates is rival to the Canary Islands on DXCC or on CQ Worldwide, South America, the Cayman Islands, Aurora, or not Aurora. What's that place down in right above South America that girl got missed? Aruba. Sorry, Aruba. Yeah. I mean, those. If you listen to those pileups, they are as big of the pileup that James generates.
So what you're saying is I need to go to one of these places and activate a park?
Well, if you could get to like Bonaire or Aruba or the Cayman Islands or one of these
or North
Canaries,
Korea.
North Korea, it's game over. But if you could go to one of those places and activate a park, on top of being a rare DXCC and also being at a park, I think you'd probably do well in a contest.
Double kilo in a matter of hours.
Oh yeah. Matter of hours, right. I mean,
So,
it's some of these guys. They put 28, 29, 30 million points on the board, and that's 4,000 contacts easily.
that's awesome.
Part of
Alright.
it though is because the repeat offender award, because he's out there so much, like people have a real chance of getting repeat offenders at parks.
Oh yeah, that's a good.
So people are like, "Oh, I've already worked this 15 times, and he's there again." So, yeah, that's kind of like a challenge, with a lot of people is getting the repeat offender and the operator to operator and all that.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
It should be one of my titles, the award keeper.
The award giver.
Award
people-
giver.
Yeah, you give people awards.
I mean, I'm sure Toby would have got 5 Eagles in West Virginia without me, right?
Anybody work Camaros? Delta 60 Alpha Echo?
What park was he in?
Rare DX, so
I didn't.
I did not.
yeah. I got him on 15, but it was hard. Talk about a pileup right there. It was insane. 5 to 10 up, and it was flooded. It was crazy.
I heard
Took me about 30 minutes to get through.
I heard Greenwood coming in earlier on 10 meters. So was trying to get him, but I couldn't get through. I guess he couldn't hear me.
10 meters has been pretty active this week.
Oh yeah.
So we kind of brought Kyle in here for a reason. He has a bone to pick with Pat, and I'm just like edging to see what it is. So Kyle, let's hear it.
So, Pat. So today I activated a POTA about an hour and 10 minutes away from the house, and I started on single sideband and I moved to CW. And I couldn't raise anybody on 40. There was too many contesters on 40.
Oh yeah,
for Arizona. Yeah. So I went back up to 20 and started calling CQ on CW. And Pat, how many times have you contacted me on CW in a park? Is it 2, maybe 3?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, I think 2. Oh, there's Hiking and Hammond. I worked him today too. I didn't recognize him, but I worked him and his wife. I forgot. Hey, I forgot what his wife's Pink. Pink. Yeah. So, sorry about the dog. The dog's barking at something. So hey, quit it. So Pat's contacted me twice on CW, and he has been literally probably 10 over 5'9", easily, every single time, right? He's a very strong signal on CW. He's got a pipeline into Missouri, and it's blaring, right? Well, every single, the 2 times that Pat has worked me, there's been another station that has been like a 5.5 or a 5.6, and those stations have had a W and a P in their call also. Okay, so I think you know where I'm going with this, but the station, like, it would end in an X, right? So I would hear P, I would hear WA, and then it'd be all just like a big huge da, right? But then I would get the P and the X. So I would send a P, and of course the call that is a 5.5 would call me, and then here is Pat, WA7 PBA, and I'm like, all right, I need the first call. That's all I need is the first call. And then I would send P and an X. And then the first call would start WA, and it might have been like a WA6. And then here's Pat, WA7 PBA, rah, rah. And you would drown out everything. So this went on for 30 seconds. Like me going back and forth to the first guy. And he kept calling. Pat kept on calling. And then finally, I gave up. Pat won. He won the conversation. I finally worked Pat to get him out of the way. And then I could work the guy that was 5'5", because I had to get the guy that was 40 over out of my britches so I could work the other guy. So, Pat, you have won the CW lottery on whenever you call. There's always going to be a guy that's like WA and it's got a P in the suffix, and you're going to call over top of him, and I'm going to call him back, and you're going to call again, and I'm going to have to work you to get you out of the way. So,
Pat wins the pilot.
It's funny though, because like I'm only running like 5 or 10 watts too.
I don't know what's going on, but like I don't know. I'm sure that you can hear me, and you hear the P.
Yeah, I'll hear like WA, then like a number, and then P. I'm like, oh, I think he's trying to call me. So.
I'm not trying to call you.
The problem. A lack of proficiency.
And I'm totally for you learning CW, and I'm a new CW operator. You're a new CW operator. We're trying to get through this together. We're trying to learn CW. But man, is it annoying whenever you call. You have the knack of calling whenever there's a WA and a P at the end. Like, so I'm requesting you, whenever you call, can you not call whenever there's a WA and a P in the call sign? Can you just choose an A or something, and then drown that guy out, or drown out a K. Don't drown out a W and A, please.
So Pat, we need to coordinate this. Next time you hear WA calling his thing, you need to also message me because he's saying peace. I'm thinking he's saying PZN, and I'll jump in there too.
I mean, this has happened twice in a row.
So let me ask you guys this: as new CW operators, are you just going on the fly and listening to Morse code and decoding it in your head, or are you monitoring it, decoding it with a computer, and using that as a backup?
No, I'm totally in my head.
Okay.
Yeah. So this CW journey it's been 2 years. Like, this is not, I love these people who go on, YouTube or they tell, oh yeah, learn CW in 20 minutes, learn CW in 20 days.
Yeah, okay, but
yeah, I'm
you were like 2 words a minute.
right. Yeah, you could, dit da da, dit da da, dit da da. That is a W. Okay, got it. Yes, you could learn it that way, and say that you have learned Morse code, but it is a whole different dimension whenever you start getting on the air and you start making contacts. And the way that I got to the point where I'm at now is, one, I started during COVID, right? So I didn't have a lot to do at home. So I was, putting YouTube, the CW Ninja on YouTube, and I would just play that in the background. And if you don't know anything about CW Ninja, it's a YouTube channel. It's got a website too, but it would give like a call sign at, let's say, 20 words a minute at 10 words per minute Farnsworth spacing, and then it would tell you what the call sign was, and then have a repeater, beep to say, there's the next call sign, and I would just, hey, quit it. I would just decode that in my head, right? And once I got to the point where I was proficient with the alphabet and numbers, I would just play that over and over. Then I started walking the dog all the time, and I would just put that in my earphones. And for 30 minutes a day, I would walk the dog, and I would play that on YouTube. And, they would give a call sign, and I would, as the call sign was going, I'd be like, oh, WA7PBE, and then WA7PBE, and I'm like, good, got that one, So that's how I got to the point where I could do instant character recognition.
Okay.
Getting on the air is a totally different story.
Sure.
Because whenever you hear tapes, CDs, stuff on your phone, all of that CW is perfect. Right? Once you get into hearing people's fists and you hear a W, da-da-da, right? Then you start to, and you have to get on the air, even if you're working at 10 words a minute. If you're getting on the air, you're getting all that experience. I was not doing that, and I missed out on that, right? So I would suggest once you get a command of the characters and you have somewhat instant character recognition, like, you hear a da-da-da, and you're like, okay, that's a W. Da-da-da-dit. Oh, that's a P. Okay. So once you start doing that, get on the air and start hearing those different sounds and the different rhythms. And I guarantee you, the more you practice and the more you hear those different tones, the higher tones, the lower tones, the different fists, it will come to you. And you will start to hear a W. You will start to hear an A. You'll start to hear a 7. And it won't matter if it's, if it comes to you at 30 words a minute, you're going to miss it. But I guarantee you, I've gotten to the point now where if somebody sends me a call sign at least twice at 25 to 28 words a minute, I'm going to be able to probably copy the suffix on the first round and the prefix on the first round and the suffix on the second round, and get it. And you'll hear the difference between like iambic paddles, bugs, and straight keys. You can totally hear those types of paddles. And once you get more and more call signs and, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, thank you, Roger, 73, states, then a QSO is easy, right?
I've found that one of the easiest things I've done to learn is hunt POTA, because you already know their call sign, you already know their state. So literally it's just going to be figuring out what their call sign is in your head and send it to them. And then, 5959, your state, 73. That's it. It's super
they say
easy.
599, don't they? In CW?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
5NN.
5NN.
5NN, that's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, and whenever you're given signal reports, I've noticed that giving proper signal reports in CW when you're learning is tough, right? Because you're so concentrated on getting the call right that I don't even look down at my meter anymore. Like on single sideband, obviously, we all talk, right? So now it's very easy for you to hear what a 599 or a 59, a 57, a 55, and looking at your meter and thinking about the call, typing it into your computer, looking at the meter, and then giving the signal report back. And all of those things are very easy because we've been doing it for years and years and years, right? Mm-hmm. In CW, if I can hear them and I am getting nervous or think I'm falling behind or a D, I have a second guess about a D versus a B or a J versus a W, I will literally just I really don't care. Everyone's 599 tonight, and I'm just going on,
It's kind of the same thing, like I'll do that with sideband, because I joke with Kyle. I always say his call sign differently, but he caught me one time during an intense part where somebody had aggravated me during the pileup, and I was just like, Alpha 0 Z,
right.
You're fine. I'm like, and just got him done and got it over with,
Right. Yeah, exactly. Perfect example of you get. I mean, even James, how many QSOs do you have just this year? 60 grand.
Over that.
Yeah. I mean, the amount of QSOs that James has, and the experience, the hours and hours and hours of experience, still. Things happen on the air that you get frustrated at, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
And just think if you're learning a new language and you get frustrated. I mean, I remember whenever I went to the National Mall and activated the National Mall and I screwed up, and there was a couple of people on the Ham Radio Crash Course that wanted the National Mall on 40 meters, and I couldn't hear them on single sideband, and they knew CW. Well, I went out and I called CQ POTA on 40 meters. Well, guess what it did? It spotted me on 40 meters on CW because I had already had a spot out there for single sideband.
Yep.
You talk about pooping in your pants. I had a pileup like you wouldn't believe, and I was, this was 6 or 8 months ago. No, actually longer. And I literally, I had to slow down to like 10 words a minute. And these guys were getting frustrated at me. And finally, I got so frustrated, I just turned the radio off. I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
I didn't think about that respotting me because I was just thinking, I was like, I need to just get like 20 people and put them in a little group chat. And like when I go out and do an activation and just send a group message and do CW there. But, I would probably do that at the end of an activation. And it would respot me. You're right. And
yep. So that's what happened to me on the National Mall, and you can just imagine that being a rare POTA. You can imagine what the pileup sounded like.
Well, it used to be a rare POTA.
Yeah, it's true.
Pat's taking care of that for everybody.
But between Pat and Anthony, you can get DC fairly easy.
Yeah. But the goal. the one thing that I wish that I did more of, and I'm doing it now, is once you have a command of the characters, you're having instant character recognition, and you're not thinking about, what is an A, what is a B, what is a C, and then you have to go over your head, da did it or da did it. All right, is that a D or a B? Once you get to that point where you're hearing the letters and you're saying, oh, that's a B, that's a C, da did it. Oh, that's a C. Get on the air. That is your cue. Get on the air and start making QSOs. And the nice thing about the POTA people is if I have yet to find a POTA hunter that if I'm running at 20 words a minute, they're coming back at me at 30 or 40. I don't think I've ever experienced that. If you dial it down to 10 words a minute, I bet you anything they're going to dial it down. Now, you might get a bug where the dits are a little bit faster than the DAs, but as long as you also, and here's another tip, is whenever I was activating POTA for the first time, I would spot myself, and in the comments, I would put new CW operator, 10 words per minute max. Or, I think I bumped it up to 15 words per minute max. And every single one of those hunters came back to me with a slower, or they had large spacing in between the characters. And that was great.
Awesome.
The hunters for CW are awesome.
I don't know that that'll work for me because there's already probably 50 to 75 people that message me regularly like, are you going to activate CW soon? Are you going to activate?
Yeah. Well, I mean, James, what you probably need to do is, yeah, that's tough. Yeah, you're right. That's tough.
You just need to do like a top secret activation. Tell people like, don't spot me.
I try that a lot. I'll be out on rows and I'll be like, all right, I've only got this much time in the park, and I'll spot in my Discord and my guys don't spot me. But somebody finds me and spots me that's not in my Discord,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, James, and all you guys, it will, it is a little bit daunting. It is nerve-wracking, but I've got, I don't know, 30, 40 POTA activations underneath my belt for CW, and each one is, 15, 20, 25 contacts. It gets easier. And I guess the first thing you got to do is trial by fire and jump into the deep end and just go,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You could just, if you're worried about it, just knock it out on FT8 real quick and then switch over to CW.
There you go.
That'd be
I don't know if they.
I'm not worried about not getting the activation in.
That's not a problem for you, James.
And here's the thing. It's not even that I'm really worried about messing up a call, because people email me every day and just like, hey, did you get me? Did you hear me? Anyway, so yeah. I can imagine what it'll be like on CW.
Yeah. And also another trick that you can do that I still do to this day is I record all of my CW activations. And if I'm not sure about a call because either that person moved off frequency or, I'm just having somebody tuned up or whatever the case may be, I put in the comments and hammers, I put like a C for check, right? And then I go back and listen to the recorded CW, and I check to make sure that call is correct before I submit the logs.
That's cool.
And you can record on your phone. I mean, I've forgotten my recorder in the house and just installed a recorder on my phone and just hit record and then went into hammers, and let it record in the background and did it that way.
I'm a CW cheater.
Yeah.
Hey, listen.
It works.
I'll tell you my experience. I have 186 DXCCs on CW. I don't know Morse. I'll admit openly. I've tried it many times. I'm tone deaf. Couldn't carry a tune with a bucket, so I can't do it. I've tried it. I learned my call sign.
Yep.
That's it. That's all I did. I can hear my call sign. I'm fine with that, and I'll decode using this, and I'll use the radio to transmit, and that's it. And
That's
when
all
I
you-
hear my call sign, I'll 5NN, and I've worked Bill hundreds of times that way, and DXCCs and all this stuff, and that's my trick.
Yeah.
But to do an you guys, I've always said Morse code operators. My Elmer is a Navy CW operator, and he's from the old days where he would do Morse code on submarines, old diesel submarines, and all that. And I've tried. Honestly, I've tried, and I cannot do it. That's my trick. I've used computer software, and the latest software I use is on my phone, and it works a treat. It's amazing. And that's how I do it.
Yeah.
So that's my cheat sheet, or my cheat way of doing it.
Right. I am not of the opinion, and you get these old school operators, and they're just like, that's cheating. That's not ham radio, right?
No.
Any way you can get it done.
Thank you.
Hey, but
That's called keyboard CW.
all
Yeah.
of my CW contacts. I don't cheat, but I don't understand half of what they're saying. So basically, what I do is when I get done with an activation, I'll look at the spots and I'll find Bill. If Bill's on, I'll always go for Bill because I know I can get Bill. And I'll go to Bill and I'll wait for him to call CQ. And when he because I can hear, I know CQ. When he calls CQ, I throw up my call sign. I know my own call sign coming back. That is about the extent of it. So when he calls me back, I put 5N WV, and whatever he says after that, I never have a clue.
He probably sends James, because whenever I contact, you're talking
He does
about
all the time.
Yeah,
He gives out your
K4 N something YM or something.
YM, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
He always sends Kyle.
Yeah,
He always sends Mike as well. Yeah.
Yes.
he probably does. As a matter of fact, the first time I contacted him, he messaged me right after it, and he said somebody's using your call sign.
Yeah.
He likes to send names, and
He
I
does.
have I have learned my name in CW. But it's you guys, it's like I know CW, I know my call, I know CQ, I know whatever the case, I know my name. Now, like after you hear those and you instant recognize what those sound like, then it's like, oh, if you've been doing this for 30 years, you recognize sentences. That's how you recognize sentences, right? You just hear the pattern and go, oh, that's a CQ. Oh, that's my name. Oh, that's my call sign.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a
Whatever
few
works.
CW ops today at the club activation I was doing, so that was pretty cool.
Hey, you know what? Foreplay's for amateurs. For rookies.
But wait, we're amateurs.
Yeah, I needed to preference that with rookies.
And rookie CW operators.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get on the ball with it anyway because I promised myself an activation by the end of the year, and I'm kind of running out of time. So
That's sneaking up on you, man.
No.
Why don't you? I mean, why don't you? If you're running out of time, James, why don't you try grab 10 people and just have don't even send CQ POTA. Just get on a frequency and have those people send their call.
Yep.
And then you copy down the call. And what would be really cool is if you kind of have to coordinate it, but still, it'd be nice if those people could call and you could decipher who that call was based on who, you're not saying, hey, call now. You know, when you
Yeah.
know it's AA0Z. You know.
Maybe you could have someone there who knows Morse pretty good, pretty well, and give him a hand. You know, just you know, try and help him out. Yeah, I know exactly, but I wasn't gonna
Use
say
your
anything.
phone.
Use your phone, and
Well, you could just flip it down, right? It could be decoding, and if you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know what they said, flip
And
it up, be like, okay, that's
Yeah.
what I thought it was, or whatever.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
There you go.
Look. I'm not going to do a park activation at McDonald's with my phone, Mike. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it in the park, so I don't need my phone.
Hey, it works a treat. It's amazing. So, hey, whatever works, you know. And the same
Yeah.
people who say Morse code, yeah, I want to see them do FT8 by ear.
You know,
right.
That's exactly true. I could just go out and do a CW activation by chasing 10 other hunters.
Yes.
And,
Could be park to park. Yeah.
You know, I did that the day that Toby was doing her club activation. I literally went to a park and I wasn't going to spot because I knew the plan. I was going to work Toby twice at 2 different parks. So I was, you know, about 12 minutes from one park to another. So what I did is I did 10 park to parks. Toby come on. I grabbed her, packed up, drove 12 minutes down the road. About 15 minutes later, I'm getting Toby a second time. So.
Speaking of learning CW, though, I do have an important public service announcement in case people forgot or don't know or whatever. So next week is Jamboree on the Air, which is an international event for youths all over the world, not even just the country, but it's scouting all over the world. They go and explore ham radio in particular. So if you guys need something to do next weekend and looking to volunteer, just hit up your local Boy Scout councils, ham radio clubs, whatever. I'm sure something will be going on near you.
Are you sure that wasn't this past weekend? Because I worked like 4 or 5 Jamboree stations.
It's this coming up weekend, the 14th through the 16th.
Okay. Which is also Support Your Parks weekend.
Just so happens to be, yeah. So I plan on actually being at a park and inviting local scouts to come down and check it out. So
Good deal. Yeah, I worked a couple of Jamboree stations this weekend. That's why I was curious.
yeah, there might be like local jamborees, and maybe they're like getting on the air now. But yeah, the official dates is next week.
Cool.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's my rag against Pat is that he has a knack of just literally just calling over top of other WA stations that have a P in the suffix, and he blasts them out. And I got to move Pat out of the way to work that guy.
If anybody knows a Whiskey Alpha with a P in it club call, please let me know. I need to join their club.
Oh.
And it's it's a little annoying too because you get like down to the last 2 letters, and then here comes Pat. Brah, brah, WA7 PBA. Blah, 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 blah. You're just like, oh my god, not again.
Pat, you need an amp when you do it too.
He's
I
loud
told you.
enough.
I'm running like 510 watts.
He's loud enough.
Running power. Next time
Got that magic key.
I get my 891, dial up 100 watts, see what happens. Just splatter the whole band.
What do you run for wattage when you do CW, Kyle?
I run. I think I got it 25 watts.
25 watts.
Yep.
Is that about the normal?
Well, I don't know what normal is, to tell you the truth, but I've got my 891 dialed down to 50 watts single sideband and 25 watts CW. Mostly because I don't see a big, huge difference on running 50 watts to 100 watts. I mean, what is that, a half S unit? So I can get a lot more out of my battery if I dial it down to 50 watts. And I don't have big batteries either. I've got, 9 amp hour and 10 amp hour batteries that I try and get many, many POTA activations out of.
From 50 to 100, not a whole lot of difference. But if you run 83 watts and drink a Dr. Pepper, you get like 20 S units.
Absolutely. That's science right there.
Now, I wonder what that would be with me drinking a Sundrop.
That would be you sending 42 words a minute.
Yep. YVY says 25 drive watts. What about out the antenna? Well, I don't know what. I mean, I'm using an end fed with a 9-to-1, a random wire, so it can't be that good because it's I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of loss in that random wire antenna.
I should literally just go to 7200 tonight at 8 o'clock and call CQ on CW and spot it on POTA just to drown them with dits and dogs.
There was a jammer on single sideband on 40 meters. I went down to 7.245 and some guy was playing something. It's I don't know what he was playing, but you just ignore him. And then I went to grabbed a couple of people, and that was about it. But
they're so dumb over there that they'll fight with themselves if there's nobody to fight with.
Oh yeah.
Right. We were visiting one night. We were in an after chat or something. I know it was myself and Pat, and I can't remember who else. But I mean, Pat's just cracking up, and I'm like, "What are you laughing about?" He's like, "Turn it to 7200." And I got on there, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
There's like some like text to speech on there or whatever. Yeah,
it was horrible.
I have a little clip on it on TikTok.
No wonder you have so many TikTok viewers. Oh.
Andy says they were all on 10 meters today. The jammers were all on 10 meters today?
It was a lot of DX on 10 meters for me.
Yeah.
I'm just leaving me alone. I don't care.
I was working the West Coast too, so that was kind of nice.
I wonder what they'll do when I change my call sign and they don't know who I am.
Andy said yes, the jammers were on 10 meters today.
They'll find you, James. Just a matter of time.
Yeah. I'm sure they will. It just takes one AM guy to tell me that they control 10 up and 10 down.
I wish the one guy would come back that played the soft like yacht rock in the background while you were activating. That was nice.
Yacht rock.
He can't though because the FBI is looking for him.
Oh yeah, okay, that one. Okay,
yacht rock.
That was a pleasant activation. You're just sitting there. We're making contacts right and left, and James has some like theme music going on.
Yeah.
It wasn't affecting anything.
It was, but he wouldn't take requests. Like I'd ask him to play certain songs and stuff, and he wouldn't take requests.
Well, that's the straw that broke the camel's back. He wouldn't take requests, and now the FBI's looking for him.
Roy
should have taken requests, buddy.
Roy, Whiskey 3, Bravo Alpha Yankee. He'd always come. I'm here with my dancing shoes. Where's he at?
No, like Caribbean Queen by who sang that in the 80s? You know what I'm talking about?
He would play some good 80s music sometimes, man. He'd play some good stuff sometimes.
Now it would be cool if they came onto the frequency and started playing. Yeah, Billy Ocean.
Yeah, Billy Ocean.
They started playing like
faster than mine, Mike.
No, Hiking and Hammond has put it on the chat.
Billy Ocean, yeah. They started jamming with like Mexican radio or something along those lines.
I like that song.
Yeah, I mean that's a jamming song.
Ball of Voodoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a quick tip for you guys. I did an activation in San Miguel Island because I was there for the POTA presentation. and I took an untested antenna. Never do that, because guess what? It did not work. How did I manage to get a piece of wire to tune to 20 meters to do FT8? Because all I took was my QDX with me, because it was quick and easy. I actually put the tuner up an antenna, up a tree, and I just stuck the antenna straight into the wire part of the tuner and tuned the heck out of it. I'm sure I got like milliwatts out of that QDX, but I managed to get my 10 and move out, and because it was horrible. So, quick tip: never go to an activation with an untested antenna. Learned my lesson. Should have known.
What kind of antenna was it there, Mike?
It was supposed to be a QRP and Fed F wire.
Okay.
But yeah, it was nothing but a piece of garbage.
Was this a hiking activation?
No, it was not a hiking activation. It was a drive-by shootout.
Then why did you not have at least 3 antennas with you then?
Because I was traveling, and this was vacation with the missus, and yeah,
Say no more.
And you're still not answering why you didn't have 3 antennas with you.
I did buy a small telescoping fishing rod, which is the size of a soda beam, and it's about 5 meters. What is that, like 10 feet? No.
15 feet. Yeah.
15 feet, something like that.
Yeah.
It was the best thing I bought in my vacation. Was I went to a sporting store and looking at their telescoping fishing poles, and I was like, ooh, this is nice. That was my biggest, the cheapest thing I bought and the best thing I bought there. So, but the POTA presentation went very well, and we might have some new POTA hunters on the way, and maybe some activators.
Good.
Especially with 10 opening up the way it is, like get activating out there.
Yeah. So, and I'm going back last weekend for the CQ SSB contest. I got invited to do that with them. They have a big old station, and I might take a proven antenna next time. So you really can travel with a ham stick on the plane. But I did order a mag loop, a QRP mag loop.
Okay.
That should do the trick if it does come in time for this trip. So that might be a, but I'll test it before I leave. I promise.
Too many rules about planes, man. I need to bring like a lot of stuff on a plane for free. What's wrong with them?
You could tell it's for sports. So radio sports, and I think if it's a sports thing, at least here in Portugal.
I mean, if a king from another country was coming to America, I bet he could bring what he wanted on the plane, right?
He has diplomatic immunity, yes.
Yes, yeah, small, yeah.
I should have potomatic immunity going to Hawaii, right?
To Hawaii?
Yeah.
I think your best thing is just contact someone there that might lend you stuff. I know that any of you guys wants to come to the Azores. I got radios, antennas. You can have it all. So.
Okay. Everybody put $1,000 in the chat if you want to see me go to the Azores.
Finally get some activations.
Oh, that ain't how that works, is it?
No, but actually, someone, I don't remember his call sign, but he came over. And do you need anything? Car, radio, antennas? Oh, no, I brought it. It did Morse most of the time. So he did really good. Yeah.
Now, there are, I don't know if they're in Hawaii, but there are ham radio vacation cottages that you can rent that have.
I think there's some in Hawaii. I've heard of. I think I've seen it.
I mean, I don't know if they're on a well. I guess you can't do it on a POTA, right? Because it's a private residence, right?
Yeah, I know there are contest stations that you can rent, but maybe if you talk to them, they'll rent you equipment. I don't know. Get in contact with the club and try and get it that way. Get them riled up about POTA. Maybe you're the first, but then they'll keep it up.
James,
go do a POTA presentation.
Yeah, that's a good idea of seeing if there's a club in Hawaii that, maybe they have a tower. Maybe they've got a beam. Maybe they've got this and that you could go and do a POTA presentation at their club and get them all riled up.
I want to do a week-long POTA presentation with your beam.
You never know. Hey,
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
I think I got Hawaii the other day, actually.
A lot of people's been hearing. I heard him last night.
The Delta 9, Kilo Delta 9 station.
Yeah, the Tez or whatever.
There you go.
Like I heard him probably a 5-1-ish.
Yep, I got him.
He wasn't hearing me.
James, you need to get into contact with the Emergency Amateur Radio Club of Hawaii. It seems like they would do all kinds of good portable stuff and would like to learn about it. That's the first club that came up in Hawaii that I looked up.
Cool deal.
Yeah, or get in touch with KD9 Tango Echo Zulu. He might want to do.
He doesn't have a choice. When the king comes to Hawaii, he's going to have to come over there so I can park him anyway.
Yeah.
That way I have Hawaii hunted too.
Yep, there you go.
You better activate from the palace if you're the king, because it's the only U.S. state where there's a monarchy. So
I did not know that.
Yeah. You have to go activate at the palace.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's the only U.S. state where there was like an independent monarchy.
They're not monarchy now, though, are they?
No. They were dissolved when the U.S. forcibly took the island from them.
Right.
Forcibly.
Yeah.
Ooh, well,
all right, guys, this is our island now. Like, okay.
How do I set that up? I'm going to make 1810 my own monarchy.
There you go.
Well, you could be like the guys at Clubhouse and grab Sealand.
Yeah. It's already a religion.
Yeah, Sealand.
The 1810 religion, so
the Principality of Big Ugly.
yes.
There you go.
The Principality of Big Ugly.
You're good.
Oh, that's great.
The POTA King has claimed Big Ugly. Guys, if you would like your sticker on something in the Principality of Big Ugly, you can buy a 1x1 square for $300. That can be through Buy Me a Coffee or Super Chats or my tip jar.
I want a passport. I want a citizenship there.
Oh yeah,
and get diplomatic immunity.
That's great.
Giving you immunity in Big Ugly is real easy, man. I can handle that. All right, so we're about time to close it up for either Frank or Charlie, whoever's doing tonight. Kyle, what do you got coming up?
I'm going to be on TO Nuggets tomorrow at 6:30 Central, talking about dashboards, Node-RED, my N1MM dashboard, and then I got a bunch of ideas for a POTA dashboard. I just got to figure out time and put it in the Google machine because I'm not a programmer. I just got to figure out, how do I do this? Well, I'll just Google it. And
when you say POTA dashboard, is it going to be toward hunters or toward activators?
Well, I have a POTA dashboard out there, and it's mainly geared towards hunters because what it does is it brings in all the spots, it maps all of the POTA locations, and basically it's just a replica of the spot page. But whenever they give us access to the API, there's so many other things that we'll be able to do with it. And I've got all of these ideas that it will be able to mostly help the hunters out there. I'm not really sure how you could, other than like maybe some route planning. I don't know. That is probably version 3 or 4. But, it would probably mostly do the hunters, benefit the hunters the most. But anyway, got that coming out. That's tomorrow night on TO Show. And then I got to release, I went on that 8-state, 9-day POTA Rove, Soda Rove that I did. that I went over to West Virginia on day number, I think it was day number 7. So I'm going to release day 1 and day 2 at the end of the week. So that's about it.
Good deal. Good deal. All right, Mike, you got anything coming up?
Trying to get an antenna for the QDX to work. Waiting on my FTDX10. Just the same old. Hunt.
I'm also waiting on my FTDX10. I don't know which one of you guys are sending it to me, but I'm still waiting. Pat, what do you got coming up?
Tuesday, I should have the video from today, where with the club activation with the Washington D.C. Amateur Radio Club. So look for that, and I'm just gonna keep doing POTOs at 891.
Cool deal. Hayden?
Well, pulling the boat at the end of the month, so I won't be spending so much time on it, and planning a major refit over the winter. And hopefully I'll be able to get out and do some more park activations again.
Good deal. Myself, I have been working on the edit actually of my activation with Kyle and James. So that'll probably be popping out this week. Also going to be doing a little quick review on the Airhead winder that I showed on the stream the other night.
Oh, is that that winder? Oh my gosh, that was so nice.
It's super cool.
Yeah. I saw that. I'm like, that ain't gonna work. And then I used it. I'm like, oh, this works.
Oh yeah, it's great. So I got a review coming out on that, and I'll probably give away one when I do that review as well. And other than that, I'm just trying to get all the legal stuff situated to where I can get back to a normal activating schedule, because I only got like 20 parks this weekend, and that's just horrible. But I really need it just so I can do my early morning activations. I need to get my vehicle going again. So, but everybody, Monday Night Ham Radio tomorrow. Go check out Frank right now, and I guess we're going to end this thing.
Yep, 7-3.
7-3, everybody.
Don't CW angry.